Welcome back. So I have a question today, and today's question comes from my daughter, Sydney. So she asked me earlier this week, Daddy, how much money do you have? Yeah, that question. Now, it's an honest question. It's a question that kids are innocent enough to ask. You probably don't have too many adults that necessarily ask you, but you do have some bold enough to do so. So, if you're ever approached with this question, the first thing you have to think to yourself is, are you playing a game? So, where did Sydney actually get this question? Well, she's been playing Cash Flow, she's been paying Payday, she's been playing Monopoly. So from those games, that's what you do, you keep score. So in order to figure out, I guess, what score I had, that's why my daughter asked me that question. Now, this was not in the context of a game, this was just one of those innocent questions that you sort of get and you're sort of like, ah. So how did I have to respond? Well, the first thing I had to do was explain that we weren't actually playing a game. Now, reality may seem like a game sometimes, but when you're actually playing a board game or something that actually has money and scores and everything like that, that's one game you're playing. And some people actually play like that. Some people like to keep score in real life. But what I realized from that question was that Sydney wasn't actually asking how much money I actually had, even though it sounded that way. What she really wanted to know is, what game was I actually playing? So, this is what the important part of today's lesson is. I'm playing an infinite game, not a finite game. If you missed that, I'm playing an infinite game. The game does not end. Now, lives, time, all those pieces, you only have so much time on this earth, and then it's game over. So maybe in that context it's a game, but what the infinite game is or what your goals and what you're actually shooting for, and those things may not be accomplished during your lifetime. However, that's what you're working to create. That's where you're working to achieve. And so that's the infinite game. And when you're playing the infinite game, you keep making moves to get toward that end goal, just blazing that path, because someone may take that torch after you're done and decide to blaze that very same path. So, in explaining this, I had to answer the question, well, that's a very good question, Sydney. How much money do I have? And the real question is it really that important? Because what money essentially is, it is the transfer of value. The transfer of value, it's a construct, right? So if anything, money is a tool. So the real question is, how important is the money you have, or how important is it, I guess, what you're actually doing with your money? How are you actually using it to, I guess, do good? So, and looking at it that way, I had to change the question a little bit. And so I asked her, I said, well, within our own environment, I might tell you if I had a score, what score I actually had. But outside of our immediate environment, you have to think, does that actually give you an advantage in the game? But at the end of the day, does it really matter what you have? No, it matters what you do with what you have. So I'm a very happy person. I'm blessed. I have all the things that I could want and ask for. So probably the best answer I can give her is enough. I have enough. So again, it really comes from this idea of, what am I looking to create for myself, and am I actually achieving it every day? And I'd love to say that I am. And if I can do good for my family, for others, and keep doing that in whatever context, that whole money piece, law of attraction, all those other pieces, that's something that solidifies itself and bears its own fruit. So that's the answer that I gave her. It may not be the typical answer that most parents say, because most parents just might say, no, I'm not telling you that. But I gave her an answer that allows her to use her imagination. And sometimes when you're not sure the right answer to give, if you give an answer that allows someone to use their imagination, that's the best type of answer that you can provide. So I hope you appreciated this lesson. I certainly appreciated the question. And I'm actually looking forward to some of the other questions that my daughter's asking, because I like to call her the little raptor, clever girl. She's bound to come up with some other doozies, and I'm looking forward to it. So I appreciate you tuning in. Until next episode, well, bye.